How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. Well, as you know, the comic market has kind of like peaked around May-ish, April-ish, and a lot of comics have like dropped off after massive highs. And I've showed books before that have really taken a massive drop. But here are five more comics that continue to go down, but also five comics that keep on going up. So it's not just every comic is going down. So here, let's take a look at it. All right, first, going down, we got X-Men #1. And I've taken, this is average sales for the month that's stated, like first one's 4.0, it says May. And then the one on the right is current average. So this month, July, even though July is almost over. But so a 4.0 in May sold for 17,000, and now it averages around 16,000. So that's like 3 months. I tried to get around 3 months away. So that's a drop of 5%. Now, there wasn't that many X-Men ones that sold in various grades, so I just went with three. Then you got a 3.5 sold for 14,000 in March, and then sold for 13,800 in July. Now, remember these averages, and that's a 3% drop. And then you got a 2.5 for 11.7, and then it's sold for this month around 9,700. So that's a 17% drop. And if you look at the graph down here, you can see that big boom right around April, May, and then it's dropped. And that's going to be a common theme for a lot of books, but not every book. All right, moving up. All right, now we got Ultimate Fallout 4. Now, 3 months ago, so around April, a 9.8 sold for $29.85. Now they sell for about $2,500. That's a 16% drop. A 9.6 sells for about 1,100 and 1,149, and now it sells for 1,104. That's a 4% drop. A 9.2 sells for about $800 back in April. Now sells for about $650. That's a 17% drop. And if you look at the graph here, you can see that it, like the other ones, went up, peaked, and is going down. All right, next we got Hulk 181, a 9.0 back in April, sold for $12,785. But this month, it sold for slightly higher, sold for 2% more. So not all of them going, but I looked at most of the Hulk 181s and all the grades that have sold in July. Most of them follow this graph that you see here where it's gone up and went down. There's a couple that went up, so that's kind of a good sign that maybe it's turning the corner. Who knows? We'll have to see what August brings. But then an 8.0 sold for $9,000 back in April. Now it sells for about $8,100, 9% drop. A 6.0 sold for $6,200. Now sells for $5,200, a 16% drop. Moving on, we got Giant Size X-Men #1. A 9.0 sold in April for $11,000, and now it sells for roughly around $9,000. That's a 20% drop. This one really took a beating, the Giant Size. An 8.0 sold for about $8,000. Now it sells for about $6,000. And again, these are real sales, not stuff that you can look and see how much they are. These are actually ones that have been sold to people. And I get this information from like Go Collect in the GPA. A 5.0 sold for around $3,900. Now sells for about $2,500. 35% drop. Ooh, that's a big drop. In 3 months. This one will surprise you. Eternals #1. Now I've seen this book kind of like slow down, so it's quite interesting. A 9.8 back in April sold for $2,900. Now it's about $2,800, 3% drop, not much. A 9.6 sold for about $777. Now sells for about $676, 13% drop. And 9.2 sold for $380. Basically the same now, $380. And usually these books don't just have one sale or two sales. There's like many, many different sales that they have, and I just average them all out. So that's kind of like looking at what's dropped in the last 3 months, right? And as you know, a lot of comics have just really taken a kind of a big drop recently. But if you look at these graphs, they also went way, way up too. Just like doubling and tripling in value. So now let's look at 5 comics that didn't get this pullback that we keep seeing. So 5 comics that keep going up. All right, we got Doctor Strange 169. And in 8.0, and back in April, it sold for $500. Now it sells for $840. That's a 68% increase in about 3 months. A 7.0 sold for $509 in March, and that's $680 now. That's 34%. That 7.0 right there is a typo. It's supposed to be a 6.0. Sold for $348, and now sells for $410. That's an 18% jump. And if you look at the graph down here, you'll see that it's, it was slow and steady and just keeps going up. All right, next we got DC Comics Presents 47. A 9.6 back in April sold for $875. Now sells for $1,400. That is a 61% jump. Quite a jump. A 9.4 sold for $429 in April. Now sells for $910. 112% jump from April. It's 3 months. A 9.0 sells for $331 and now sells for about $358. 8% jump. You look at the graph, just sky high. This has lots to do with the TV show coming out that I think got released this weekend. I haven't checked it out, but I imagine this book will drop off. I think it will still make decent money in August, but I think that's when it's going to start dropping off. So if you're in the market for one of these, I would wait. It's went up a lot, but I don't think it's going to stay up. All right, moving on. Conan 23. This is the first appearance of Red Sonja. A 9.2 back in April sold for $286. Now sells for $900. That is crazy. A 215% return in just 3 months. An 8.0 sold for $172 in April. Now sells for $402. 134% jump. A 7.0 sells for $144 in April. Now sells for $290. 100% jump. And look at that graph, just straight up. Now it didn't get, compared to other comics, it didn't get just like a huge jump until recently. Let's see, moving on. We got Black Panther #2. This is the first appearance of Shuri, and she is supposed to be in Black Panther 2, the movie, and I think she might actually be the Black Panther, if that's the route they go. A 9.8 back in April sold for $687. Now sells for $859, 25% jump. A 9.6 sold for $304 in April. Now sells for $471, 55% jump. 9.4 sells for $198 in April. Now sells for $350, 77% jump. And if you look at this graph, it's still got a massive boom, but still goes up. While not most, but a lot of comics have seen a big drop off. All right, last one. We got Avengers #8. This is the first appearance of Kang the Conqueror. And as you know, he is going to be the villain in future MCU movies. And a 7.0 sold for $1250 in April. And now, in 3 months, went from $1250 to $4,371. That is crazy. 250% jump. A 6.0 back in March sold for $1,023. Now it sells for $2,317. 126% jump. This is supposed to say a 5.0. So the 9.0 is incorrect. I just forgot to change it. In April sold for $602. Now sells for $1,046. 74% jump. And if you look down at the graph, you can see it just going really high. So yeah, those are kind of like 5 comics that have seen the real pullback, and a lot of them, went really high up, and now they're coming back down. But there's still, for people to think like all comics are going, nope, it's not. There's still major keys that are still continuing going up. So it's not all comics. It's just certain ones. Ones I think that went up way too fast, too quick. you know, like your Hulk 181s and stuff. But I'm seeing Hulk 181s kind of level out, so that's good. That's good. I mean, well, who knows what August will bring? Only time will tell. But I hope you like this video of 5 comics that are going down and 5 comics that are keep going up. All right, have a good weekend.